Okay, so now that you've figured out the kittens, you're moving on to task 2. And for task 2, we're taking mom's information, we're combining it with what we know about the kittens, and we're trying to figure out who dad is, because the point of the assignment is we want to see who knocked up your cat, right? Who's the father of your kittens? And so in this case, we're adding some information to the equation. So for example, hair length, the mother cat has 2 little m's. If you recall from the previous 3 kittens, all the kittens have short hair. And so their genotypes are going to be either capital L, or capital L, little l. Now, when you consider that, we can do a little bit of sleuthing without really doing much else. If mom has 2 little l's, that means when she goes and makes sex cells, all of her eggs are going to only have little l's. So if we look at that, we can take a look at what our kitten's possibilities are, and we can see one of these isn't going to work, right? There's no way our kittens could be this because mom can't give a capital L. So right off the bat, we know we just have to know what could dad potentially have to join with one of mom's little L's to give us this genotype. So you may or may not recall as you're looking at some of the reading that they have something called a Punnett square. It looks very much like a tic-tac-toe box. And so in this case, we're going to go ahead and say dad. We want to know what he is. And we're going to say mom. And we know that mom can only pass on a little l or a little l, but we want to figure out what's going to give us this combination, right? That's at least one of the possible combinations that could have happened. We know we've deleted the 2 big L's because mom doesn't have a big L to pass on. So that means dad has to have, dad has to have at least 1 big L, right? Big L joins with little l gives us 1 of each. It also, this big L could join with that little l, and we could have 1 of each. All right, so that possibility, dad has at least 1 capital L. Now, could dad have a little l, right? If that was the case, we would have this combination, this little l gives us this. We could have this little l join with this little l and this. Now, in this case, dad still produces this combo, so he could in fact be that. He could have 1 big, 1 little. Now, if we wanted to make sure, we could go back and say, okay, dad, you could have 1 big L. What about if you had 2 big L's? All right, and mom, as you recall, has 2 littles, and so our combination right? In this case, all of the offspring, if this is what dad had, are going to be exactly what our kittens are. So in this case, dad could be this, or he could be this, right? Now, if we just wanted to be safe, if we wanted to make sure that we're covering all our bases, there's really only 3 gene combinations. And so again, if mom has 2 little L's, she can only pass on 1 of the L's or the other of the L's. And if we're looking at dad, and he had 2 little L's, right? All of the kittens would be little l. Now, in that case, that's not going to give us, not going to give us this gene combination. So in this case, dad's phenotype has to be this or this. It's not, right, 2 little l's. Okay, the rest of the worksheet works the same way.